Welcome back, TCSTV viewers. Chris Niccolls here again from the camera store, and as you can see, we're in my backyard because you guys wanted to see what kind of progress has been made. And look, we got a pond, we got a patio, we got the deck here. We're doing pretty good. Now, Jordan and I have just gotten back from Photokina, and we want to talk about our adventure there. Now, it was our first time at Photokina. We were amazed by how big the show actually is, and the size of the crowds was incredible. It was a really overwhelming experience. We got to see a lot of neat products, a lot of displays that are made for really tall German people and not so much for me. And lots of cool products like fuzzy things. We found a lot of really neat fuzzy stuff. Now, we thought about doing the entire Photokina episode here in a Werner Herzog voice as a tribute to one of our favorite directors, but I don't think we're going to do that. You might find him sneaking in here and there, but we'll see. Now, what we kept on hearing when we were at Photokina is that people weren't as excited about the show as they may have been in the past, and I think that's because a lot of the things that were announced at the show weren't final products. You know, they were just pre-announcements, but these cameras are still in development. Still, one that was really cool to look at was the brand new Fuji GFX. We were very excited to see this body, and this is game-changing because this is really now the medium format sensor getting into a mirrorless body and all that entails. And Hasselblad did that as well with their new brand new X1D. And you know, with the GFX, we noticed that there were some really neat features that we liked. Even though it's pre-production, focus seemed pretty quick, and overall, I really liked the handling. Now, we also really love the brand new Olympus OMD EM1 Mark II. I mean, the name's not very original, but this camera is promising some pretty amazing stuff. Olympus's first camera without an AA filter. It's gonna be a nice sensor upgrade. The camera was incredibly fast, of course, beautiful to handle, and the image stabilization system has been revamped as well. The other cool thing that I really liked about this was Olympus looks like it's now making an effort towards high-end video. We're not sure what it's gonna be like, but we are hopeful. We've got some of the right features in the camera body, like headphone jack and mic jack, and we can't wait to try it out in one of our tests. Now, another exciting product from Olympus that Jordan and I desperately want to get into our video kit, the new 12-100 f4. Beautiful range, super useful, and for video, we found it had basically zero breathing. It's compact, it's light, we can't wait to try it out. Oh, now the Panasonic GH5, this is an interesting camera. Now, we got to see it, of course, behind glass showcase, and first off, body looks very similar to the GH4, and that's a good thing because it was always a fantastic handling system. Now, we did push Panasonic to see if we can get our hands on something or, you know, get some detailed specs, but they're being very hush-hush about it. We don't have any B-roll to show you, and I'm pretty sure there's snipers in the building. I may have caught a red laser light on Jordan's head at one point or another throughout that. But, you know, there are some things that we do know. 4K 10-bit internal, we're very excited about that. Rumor that there's going to be a new sensor put in this camera, that would make sense. But definitely, this is one that people are going to be looking forward to in the future with bated breath. And I know Jordan, I think, went to bed that night very excited about the possibility of a GH5 and a 12-100 Olympus in his future. So very exciting. Keep an eye out for that one. Now, with Nikon, nothing much to show except the key mission. They're really pushing their new action cam line. Now, the 360 key mission does have some potential because this is a new market, and Ricoh's done pretty well with their Theta. If it's going to pan out in the future, well, we're going to have to see what that's like. But the camera's rugged, you can change battery, you can change memory cards, and those are big pluses. Now, for the 170, it's basically a GoPro copy. It's hard to say, guys. I don't know how these cameras are going to do because it seems like the action cam world is kind of slowing down right now in the market. So hopefully the key mission hits it out of the park, but I am a little bit skeptical. The biggest surprise was actually the Key Mission 80, this little camera that you can kind of wear on your shirt and walk around. It's super sexy looking, it's affordable, and that might actually have some interesting potential. Something you can wear and walk around and record your daily life and adventures. Might be cool. Kind of remind me of the movie Her a lot. Now, Sony has, of course, released the brand new A99 Mark II, and the first thing that goes to your head as a camera viewer is honestly, is the A mount dead? I mean, is Sony crazy for doing this? But at the same time, we got a full hands-on. We got to take the camera around Photokina and shoot. And, you know, I mean, this camera's fantastic. It has the 42 megapixel sensor, which we know is fantastic. It does beautiful 4K footage, which we know the A7R Mark II can do in a beautiful way. Focused amazingly fast and shoots 12 frames per second with continuous autofocus. So when you consider just how much of a powerhouse this camera is with that huge sensor behind it, maybe Sony isn't that crazy. And remember, there's beautiful lenses already available for A-mount. So, you know, time will tell. Is this camera going to rejuvenate the series? I kind of assumed that it was already extinct, but Sony's pushing along, and that's good for A-mount users. Now, we took a look at the Ricoh Pentax booth and we just didn't see anything new being announced, but don't be too hard on Pentax because remember, they've just released the brand new K1 and K70 and they're both excellent cameras. However, our remote correspondent Nick Devlin, a frequent guest on our show, says he did find an exciting new Pentax product that he promises a big upgrade. So without further ado, let's go over to Nick now.
In a radical departure from the camera bodies, lenses, and accessories that other manufacturers were showing for their pro users, Pentax featured something very different, the I Heart Pentax button. Now, the first thing that strikes you with the I Heart Pentax button is the design. It is sleek, rounded, slim, and unlike a lot of those heavy camera objects being released by other manufacturers, it is light. I can carry this with one hand all day and not get tired. Design aside, the really big news with the I Heart Pentax button is its radical one-touch user interface. It's a return to the analog kind of style that everybody is enjoying these days. You take the sharp pinny part, stick it into something, and you have a hole. It's absolutely foolproof, works 100% of the time, very forward thinking. So we get to the real question, which is, should you upgrade? If you're still rocking the I'm vaguely aware Pentax exists temporary tattoo from 2009 or 10, then this is a no-brainer to move up to the button. But if, like me, you're someone who bought the I like Pentax button 2 or 3 years ago, the upgrade is not as clear a decision. Because, to be honest, there's not a lot of evidence that Pentax hearts us back right now. I gotta go get some medical attention for an early user incident I suffered with the button, so back to you, Chris.
All right, Nick, thank you very much for that insightful review. That is hard-hitting stuff for sure. Now back to the Photokina show. One of the big highlights for Jordan and I was actually that we were so honored to get to interview Kazuto Yamaki, who is the CEO of Sigma. Now, of course, Sigma is doing amazing stuff with lenses right now. Their art series and contemporary are taking the world by storm. But rather than talk too much about gear, I really wanted to just ask this man about his company, his employees, the town where the stuff is made, and more about his own interests. So check out our interview on that. All right, TCSTV viewers, we are here with Kazuto Yamaki, the CEO of Sigma. And first off, I'd like to say thank you very much for finding the time to talk with us. We really appreciate it. Now, in Canada, Sigma has become a very, very popular brand for us, and you've won over a lot of our professionals. So can we talk a little bit about what it is that you're trying to do with your lenses? What's the sort of design that you're trying to get, and who are you trying to make these lenses for?
Well, we like to deliver our product to many photographers, many variety of the photographers. Mm-hmm. But so far, our main target customers are mid to high-end photo enthusiasts.
Your lenses are very famous now for being excellent at wide apertures. Is that normally a difficult thing to achieve in optical design?
There are several reasons, but first of all, our engineers are very passionate about photography. They really love photography, and they always dreaming of making their own lens. So they are very passionate. Actually, most of our engineers graduate at top university in Japan. Some of them have a master's degree and a doctorate degree, but they could work for the bigger company, but they knocked the door of Sigma because they knew they can work for the photography if they work for Sigma. Mm-hmm. If they enter the big company, they may be assigned to the other product like a printer
something
or copy.
They're not passionate about.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the industry is changing so quickly nowadays, and the big change, of course, is the mirrorless camera.
Yeah.
Of course, I know Sigma makes quite a few mirrorless cameras as well. How do you see that changing your industry?
I think the mirrorless has a bright future. The mirrorless camera has many advantages over conventional DSLR. For example, the focus is more accurate than DSLR. And then, because there is no mirror, so there is no mirror shock, so less chance to have a blur in the image. But when you shoot the wildlife or sports, mirrors can be as good as a conventional DSLR. So in the future, I think both mirrors and DSLR coexist.
Do you see Sigma now building new lenses? Is that something that the company wants to plan in the future for mirrorless cameras?
Yes, we already have the 4 lenses for mirrors. All of them are APS-C size.
Right.
But our plan is to expand the line, which includes mirrorless camera for full frame.
And of course, the other industry that we have now is video and cinema.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you're trying to do with these lenses here?
But this kind of complete set is very unique in terms of the spec, in terms of the size, in terms of the price point. So I think we can create new demands in the cine market.
Now I know one thing that I love very much about camera design is very classic camera design. So quite old lenses from the 60s and 70s. And of course in our market now with cameras, very retro, more vintage design is becoming very popular. Now Sigma have always had a very clean, very beautiful, very professional looking design. Do you see Sigma ever making lenses for a vintage kind of feel or a retro design? Is that something that Sigma sees in the future?
First of all, I like such a vintage retro design. Not only the camera, but also the audio or car from that time.
Absolutely.
Is so beautiful.
I agree.
So I'm a big fan of those kind of things. But as a manufacturer, I don't think it's a good idea to try to copy that kind of vintage design. If we have a target to copy the design of that time, the best job we can do is to make a same quality product.
Right.
And also the manufacturing technology has been changed. So there is no guarantee that we can make the product with the same feeling. So
Right.
that's why as a manufacturer, we try to create a new design.
With Sigma as a company, tell us about what you do to support photography. I'd even be curious in the local community. Are there internal things within the company where you encourage photography and encourage photo taking?
Even in company, once we have a new employee, we let them go to the studio and take pictures with professional photographers, and they learn how to take pictures.
Oh, so you actually educate your employees on how to take better photos.
It's extremely important for engineers how the camera is being used. As I said, most of the engineers are photo enthusiasts.
Right.
But there's some engineers who never use a camera, so we will educate them how to use the cameras.
That's beautiful. I do very much appreciate your time. Thank you very much for showing us the new lenses. Now the show is called Photokina, but video is incredibly well represented at this show as well, especially in terms of camera movement. We saw some really cool devices. So if you want to do horizontal slides, but then maybe throw an arc in there as well, concave or convex, there's products for that. And of course, when we get to the extreme of camera movement, the drone, that was also very well represented. The DJI Mavic was not announced in time for Photokina, but shortly after. But the GoPro Karma showed some very thoughtful design, a very cool product, and they had an excellent display. Now, of course, a video camera needs good lenses, and Photokina did not disappoint. Tons of new cinema glass out on the market. This seems to be one of the fields that's really growing right now. Sigma, of course, dazzled with their brand new lenses, which are essentially recreations of their art lenses. But you also had the new lightweight zoom from Zeiss. That looked beautiful, very lightweight, and very, very useful. And Tokina did really do something unique. Brand new cinema lenses in cinema mounts, totally new formulas. That was also incredibly exciting. Overall, looks like the cinema field is growing huge, and Photokina is representing that very well. The Tamron 20mm lens is a paradox. Its Gaelic name translates into truth. How can this construct of glass and metal, not thinking, not breathing, show honesty? The sentient being behind the camera abstracts the reality, shows only what it wants the viewer to see. Even more profoundly, the viewer internalizes these lies, creating a new truth for themselves. And so the lens has become a vessel, transmuting truth into lie, and then back into a new truth. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't resist. I had to. I promised you a little bit. But you know, the Tokina 20mm, fantastic. No breathing when you're focusing on this lens. Beautifully made and designed. We're eager to see how it's going to perform for photo and video. Now, of course, as you know, Jordan and I love shooting on the Sony FS5. In fact, we're shooting on it right now. And one of our favorite features is the variable electronic ND filter that's been into that. And of course, with Sony cameras, adapters are a big part of it. Now, it's no secret that there are now Nikon autofocusing adapters. We saw some of those, but what we really love, and what seems to borrow a page from the Sony FS5, are now adapters that have a built-in variable ND in an electronic format. This is amazing, a little bit bulky, but the potential is there to have full smooth ND filters with any lens that you want on any camera. So this is an exciting development. We're looking forward to seeing more of that in the future. Now, traditional film products are still doing very well at the camera store, although we didn't see a lot of excitement at Photokina, but what we were surprised by was how big the instant film draw still is. Now, first off, Jordan and I did stop by the Impossible Project booth. We got our picture taken there, you can see it here, and they're playing around with some cool monotone color concepts and just plugging away at new designs, but it was getting a lot of attention, and that's healthy to see. And a bit of a surprise, but a very pleasant one, Leica have developed a very handsome looking instant camera that takes the Fuji Instax media. So, you know, it looks like this market is still growing strong. It's very, very popular, and that's always fun to see. You know, one of the things that actually made a really big impact on us, and something that we didn't really expect, was the Photokina galleries. So many small little galleries spread around, and then the Leica gallery. I mean, just stunning stuff. I think we lose sight nowadays in the digital world about getting to that final end game, that print, you know, the thing you can hold in your hand or look on a wall and appreciate. Our digital files just stay on our hard drives or end up on Instagram and Twitter and websites and rarely go further than that. And that's a real shame. You get to see basically 13 world-class exhibits all at once. It was stunning stuff, truly inspiring. Now guys, this next part is going to sound cheesy, but it's just totally true. I mean, the best part of Photokina and traveling to Cologne in general was just getting to meet all of our fans and all of the people who recognize us on the street. So many people in Germany really love the show, and it's just so rewarding to get feedback from these people, to understand that they really appreciate the work we do, and to be able to meet them and thank them for supporting us. It's such an amazing part of our whole journey there. And of course, undoubtedly, you're going to meet more than just fans. You're also going to meet all those other YouTubers. What are you guys doing here?
What are you doing here? And what's that in your hand? A prize from a cereal box? I've been meaning to ask you, where'd you get your hair gel?
Well, you know, it's a funny story, actually. I did my hair, and
Yeah.
then I got on the plane, I realized I totally forgot the product. And then I went down, like, to the drugstore,
Yeah.
and I found the exact same stuff.
No, it's like, it stays, but it still looks natural. You know?
L'Oreal Fiber Putty, yeah, absolutely.
grab
Thank
some,
you.
I'm gonna grab
But your
some.
hair's so nice, too.
No,
I mean, it's really
thanks,
cool.
thanks.
The light's
I
hitting, it's
know.
really nice. I mean, Tony's hair's nice, too. He's got that gray thing going on.
Yeah, I
It's very
dye it
distinguished.
myself.
You do that?
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
a
so. I was
ton
wondering
of
what
work.
that was.
Yeah, but it's worth it.
You know, this beautiful sunset, now that I'm looking at it, just makes me think, why are we even fighting in the first place? I mean, we're YouTubers. There's no competition online, right? Like, what's the point? We're just photographers.
Yeah, it's better off to be friends anyway.
So of course you guys can see there's no animosity, there's no competition. I mean, YouTube is just about sharing knowledge, having fun, making photography a better place. We met a lot of wonderful people for the first time. Matt Granger was really nice, very gracious. We got to meet up with him and have a talk with him. We also got to talk to Kai. We were looking forward to that. We had a fantastic time with him as well. And to Tony and Chelsea Northrup, we got to go shooting with them. Nick Devlin as well, our great friend from Luminous Landscape. We all hit the town. We got to take some photos, and that was so much fun. You know, it's so nice to hang out with them, and we encourage you guys to check out Tony and Chelsea Northrup's channel. They do such a beautiful job, lots of information, lots of books. Go check it out, they deserve it. And also to Nick Devlin and Kevin Raber, you know, these guys from Luminous Landscape are doing such good work, putting out so much information, and Nick and Kevin have always been such a big support for us here at TCS TV, so check out their stuff as well. We encourage you guys to support all the photographic YouTubers doing a lot of hard work out there. Well, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed my backyard. I know there's still a lot more work to do, but hopefully you enjoyed this little look at Photokina. I mean, it's a neat experience if you haven't been to it, and we're very excited to get back there in a couple of years. Lots of new gear. It's always good for the industry, and it's always neat to see how the world of photography is moving forward. Now, don't forget, guys, please subscribe to us. We want more subscribers, more views. Tweet to us, Instagram to us. We love to get back to you guys and have this one-on-one interaction. Again, that was one of the best parts of Photokina, is just getting to meet all of you there at home and have real discussions. So we encourage you to do that. Keep watching the channel. We're going to see you guys real soon. Until next time, I'm Chris Niccolls, and Jordan Drake wants to say goodbye to you.